Dun, 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 dun. Facebook Live. Here we are back again Saturday at Rythmia in Guanacaste, Costa Rica, waiting for the first of you to arrive here. This is the weekly I Got My Miracle segment where we interview a person who's gone through our program for the week and get a first-hand candid view of what's going on. So that I will be repeating as soon as we get enough people on here. So if you're coming on, and that's the 3 or 4 of you so far, just go ahead and type in the chat bar hi from wherever you're at. Let us greet you and have, we got one heart like already. It doesn't tell us by who, unless we do this. So exciting. Tina, hey Tina. So Tina's from Finland, I know that. She's been here before. Hey, all right, some hearts and likes, 18 people. Asen, hey, Asen's here. He's one of my fans. I am R. Christian Minson, director of the breathwork program here. I'm filling in for Jerry Powell today. So if you guys were expecting him, I wore a Jerry White t-shirt here, so you might get confused. All right, so Tatum, Adam Bell, Lola, Deborah, hi. America, from Finland again, yay. All right, so people are signing on. We got 45, 53. All right, let's see how fast we did that. In just 1 minute and 15 seconds. So we're gonna wait till 75. Oops, 64. We're going good, Adam. Hi from, where'd you say you're from? Whoops. Andrea, hey Andrea, woohoo. Andrea was just here last week, or was it just last week? George from Ontario, Julia, hey. Julia, hello. Asen, happy royal wedding. Oh, Asen's from London, England, and very momentous occasion here, the royal wedding. So if you haven't heard about it, go check it out after the Facebook Live. All right, here we are, 113. So, yeah, I had Andrea says last week. Yes, I thought so. Miss you already, though. So welcome, everybody. This is Rythmia Facebook Live. I Got My Miracle. This week, breathwork edition. We had our very first breathwork week here. So I'm R. Christian Minson, director of the breathwork program here. I am filling in for Jerry Powell today, who usually does this segment, basically because he said, I don't know anything about breathwork. I need you to fill in. So here I am, because I basically ran this program this week. And here we are this week interviewing one of the participants, Angela Engel from Colorado. Don Engel, we were just talking. Okay. I have a friend, Angela Engel, out in Colorado. We were just talking about that. So Don Engel from Colorado. Already off to a good start here. So Don, you were one of, I like to call this a historic occasion, because this is the very first breath week at Rythmia. Rythmia has been in existence now 2 years, 2 years and a half, essentially, come June. And up to this point, it's been plant medicine mixed with breath work. This was the first week of breath work. So one, I was very excited to host you and all the others for the breathwork week. What I really want to know straight out from you is why did you come to the breathwork week as opposed to one of the normal Rythmia weeks?
Mm-hmm. Well, my plan was to come to do the plant-based medicine because I had heard so many incredible things from my friends that came last year. I was all amped up. I've done some great therapy in my life, but I thought this would be just a kind of a different way to look at my issues. So I called and was making all the arrangements and the shuttle arrangements, and she said, "So you're not on medication, are you?" I said, "Well, yeah." "Oh, you can't do the tea." Yeah. So for a second, I thought I'd lie maybe, because I really want to do the tea, but then I read the literature and it says I'll die. So
not a good idea to lie about your meds.
That's not good.
Rule number 1.
Yeah. So I wanted to just cancel. But my friends who came last year said, "We promise you'll still get something out of this." So I decided to find a breath week only week just because I didn't want to be around other people that were doing the tea, because I really wanted to do it. And so it worked perfectly for me, is to find just breath work only. And I was confident I would get something out of it.
That's good. Well, I mean, you know, that's great that you were confident, but you basically came here sight unseen. You, except on the recommendation of a couple of friends who had been here during the plant medicine weeks, but ensured you that you would get something out of breathwork from there, because we do breathwork and plant medicine together in the plant medicine weeks. They had the breathwork experience, huh?
And the tea, and still said, you'll absolutely get a lot out of this.
Right, excellent.
Yeah.
So what did you come to Rythmia for? What was it that you were hoping to achieve here by coming to this program?
What I wanted to do is to understand what my personal blocks were to having a healthy relationship. And I wanted to see if I was doing something that was preventing that from happening, since of course I've always assumed it's the men out there. There's no men out there. There's billions of men, but there's no men out there that are healthy. So that's the miracle, was, could I have any insight into what I was doing to prevent that from happening?
Now, what gave you the idea to think in that direction anyway? I mean, like you said, it's often about them, right? It's like they're wrong. They're not. I'm somehow not, attracting the right ones. But here you actually thought, maybe there's something for me to look at as well.
Yeah, I think I just got hungry for relief. Starvation often promotes growth for me. So I thought, I want to give it one more try. I'm going to give it one more wholehearted try of trying to understand this.
Right on. Yeah. So you mentioned starvation too. Is that something a theme in your life? Or?
You mean experiencing starvation in general?
Yeah, using that. I feel like during the week you used that a couple times metaphorically. Any greater explanation there? Or?
Well, one of my coping strategies as a kid to not have to deal with the stress that was going on at home, which was pretty huge, is I literally would starve myself, because my thought was all my pain will go away if I was just skinny, whatever that meant. Skinny and pretty, whatever that meant. So starting from age 10, I was on a diet 24/7 from age 10 to age 20. And that kept me focused on something other than what was going on at home. And then during that time, also another strategy I adopted was just being very judgmental of people. Criticizing what they were looking at or not looking at, or who they were, or how smart they were. So the combination of those two. And then, ironically, that physical starvation was also total emotional starvation.
So these were strategies you were using to deal with life in general,
mostly life at home.
Yeah.
I mean, I had nice friends, a nice environment, but there was such unhappiness at home with my parents. And I was a real sensitive kid, so I had to figure out a way out, and that was the way. So I would focus all my senses on food deprivation and criticizing my body. That's a 24-hour job.
Right.
And that's your job. So, yeah.
So let's get into then what you found in this program that helped you along the way. Maybe going in linearly. Like you arrived here Sunday night, so everybody who came here this week came in on Sunday. A couple left today, but the bulk of you will leave tomorrow. So arriving Sunday, how did you think arriving in this place? Did you look around and see?
Looked around, saw the hammocks, thought about all the free time I was going to have to ride a bike and just lay around. And I also thought I'd be able to pick and choose what workshops to go to, because of course there was going to be 8 people here, and I'd be anonymous. But come to find out, there was 8 people, and that was perfect for me. Absolutely perfect.
So you were hoping to hide out, but the circumstances that made you come out.
Absolutely.
Sort of front center.
And then once I decided that, I was full in every second, every minute, journaling, thinking. I'm here. this is a big deal to be here. I'm going to take advantage of it as much as I can.
Well, I'll point out that, of course, we're talking about getting our miracles here, and that attitude is one of the prerequisites to getting the most out of this program. One of the things that you or anybody who comes here could do is half the equation. We have a program here, but as that old cliche goes, you can take a horse to water, but you can't make it drink. And so you were drinking.
I was thirsty.
Awesome. So Sunday night was our first breath work, and this breath work was like the standard program. This wasn't, one of the things I can mention is that the breathwork program is very much structured like the plant medicine program. The whole class structure and everything is more or less the same. The difference is that the nights that we do plant medicine, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, we do a extended breath medicine ceremony. Right? So you came in on Sunday, which is a standard breathwork day, and you had your first breathwork experience. And tell me about that. What?
Yeah, it was physically challenging. It's a different way of breathing. For the first probably 10 minutes, I thought, this is sort of torture. And then all of a sudden, I just started thinking about my history and having a lot of compassion for myself. There were some people in the group that had some real pain, and I was kind of picking up on it, and it kind of helped me come into my own pain. So I was off and running that night. And it's like, okay, all right.
Off and running, kind of brought up some, started opening you up, like getting you vulnerable, getting that pain exposed.
Right.
And you stayed open with it. And that, of course, I was.
And that's a miracle just in itself. Because I have no escape here. There's nowhere to go. And so I'm here. I'm committed. I'm here. And I've done, like I said, some great therapy, but you go for an hour. And then you can go home and you could kind of just move away from what you learned. But here you can't move away from it. Or you can choose to. But you guys create a momentum that works really, really well.
Yeah, nice. And good that you recognize that, because that's kind of what the program's about. We're building up steam, and the more that you can just plug in the program and go along, the more steam gets built up.
Yeah.
So we're off and rolling then in the steamroller here, and Monday night is the first of the more elaborate ceremonies, and we in these ceremonies they're focused around the same structure of Rythmia's intention: show me who I become, merge me with my soul at all costs, and heal my heart. So this night was show me who I become, and some of the differences in these particular ceremonies is that at the end we do a super conscious visualization, around the particular theme of the night. In this case, show me who I become. So, in this particular breathwork session, what really happened for you, or what kind of understandings did you gain from it?
Well, it sent me to thinking about my mom. I had a friend who said before I was going to come here, oh, you're going to grieve your mom. I'm like, no, I already done that work. But she came to mind, and she was the example of how I was going to get through life, because she was chronically dieting, she was bulimic, and she consequently died of colon cancer at a very young age, so very tied in. So I was thinking about her, feeling a lot of compassion and love and missing her, but also recognizing where I got some of these strategies from.
So the strategies of the starvation diet, the dieting strategy.
Thinking my value is completely on how I look, and also approaching life from kind of a judgmental, critical standpoint. So I had compassion for her, and I felt so sad that she didn't have the opportunity to work through that she carried that to her death. And she was just trying to cope with her own family.
And then that sort of in the scope of show me who I become revealed to you like these tendencies and the origins of them. Is that kind of what you're saying?
Right. Because it's easy for me to criticize myself for being shallow and superficial when people have real issues with their bodies. But criticizing myself hasn't healed this. Demeaning myself and showing me what kind of a stupid way of thinking that was doesn't help. But to go from, wow, it really served a purpose. It served a purpose for Mom. It served a purpose for me. And then on my dad's side, there's a lot of eating disorder. So somehow it served purposes for them too. So I don't need to criticize it. I really understand it.
Mm-hmm. So, so you're gaining some understanding here. So we move on then to night 2, Tuesday, in night 2 of the big ceremonies. This is Tuesday night, and the theme around that is merge me with my soul. The idea of the soul merge, that we've split from our soul, and it's time to come back together to get insight on that, or to physically experience that. And take it away. Mm-hmm. What happened there?
Right. So I was starting to make this connection with who I am now and who I've become, but there was still a lot of criticism about who I had become. And so in that process, my soul basically said, you're not ready yet. You need to do some more work before I come back in here. So I can't come back into a critical, mean person's body.
Wow.
So I wasn't able to do that merging, but I was clear about what I need to do and work on and look at to be able to connect to my real self. Mm-hmm. And then I'd also presented to you guys my picture of when I was 3 or 4 and the delight and joy on my face. And that child needs to have a very clean body to be in before my soul comes back.
Nice, nice. So we have some clear directives on how to make that happen, and what exactly to do. How about the motivation to do it, and what that
it was strong. It was strong. Yeah. Especially when I looked at the picture of that child who was so full of delight, and I've never seen a picture like that since. Like, she's still there. I need to do some clean work though, so she can come out and be happy and safe.
So night number 3 is heal my heart, basically. Heal my heart, repair my heart, whichever way we kind of look at it. Getting in touch with the emotional dimension of our being, some of the emotional wounds, the broken hearts, the letdowns, whatever it is that we could let go of and feel renewed. What happened then on this night?
So on that night, what I really was, I think, needing was the next night, which is the forgiveness night. I needed to be able to forgive people and myself in order to get a new heart. So I was struggling with it. And I understood the struggle. I knew what I wanted to work on. And I had no idea what was coming up the next night. But the next night solidified that for me.
So that third night was a bit of a struggle. It was kind of like really wrestling with this, like, I want that healed heart, but
I don't feel healthy enough to have it yet.
No.
I need to keep working on that. I just can tell.
And so that realization kind of came out of that night. Then.
Yeah, it did.
And just like plant medicine, it's interesting. Each night is a little different. Sometimes the nights can be a struggle. Sometimes they're very enlightening and wonderful. And so then the fourth night is an extension on Heal My Heart, but the forgiveness, really focusing on forgiveness. And so you say that's where the grand slam happened, right? Or where it got pieced together from the night before.
And mostly with my dad. Now, I had never intended to forgive him. That's not an intent, or I'm not even interested in that. But a lot of the way he dealt with me growing up created a lot of my defenses. So I actually went back and replayed some of the really painful experiences with him, but had kind of more of a self with me. And then I had a chat with him in this, and I just let him know, like, I know you're in pain, and I know that you're only functioning in the way you know, but I do want you to know that in the future, I'm not going to want to have a relationship with you. There's going to be a consequence. I need you to know that. So coming from that standpoint is very different than going back in and saying, don't be humiliated, don't be upset. So I approached him several times that night in my head.
So this is it, during your session, during your breathwork session, you're having these conversations with your father and re-scripting the relationship, essentially, so that you approached it with more personal power and choice rather than
Right,
a sense of
right.
victimness.
Total, yeah. We're the masters of victimization in my family, and I've loved being a victim. And so when I took on this voice that I've never had with him before, I felt compassionate for him because he was ultimately going to lose having a great relationship with his children that he didn't know. And so ultimately he paid more of a price for it than I did. I never thought of it like that before.
So that came out of the session that that he was really that had paid the price, and I think we were talking earlier in the week, and said some compassion for him came out rather than seeing him as the perpetrator. You actually started to see that like he was hurting, therefore that drove his actions. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then now I had the opportunity to heal from my victim stance and narcissism, but he didn't, and he paid a horrible price and never understood why he was in so much pain, why his children didn't want to be around him. So I don't have to go that way. So I feel for him that he didn't have the opportunity or the strength to do this work, because he would have had incredible relationships with his great children.
So here you are with this understanding that then you actually forgave your father and your mother.
Yeah, and I felt so sad for her because she actually had a spark of life before she got married. I've seen cards where she's written about some spiritual things, and then after marriage she lost all that. So in my processing, I was kind of grieving for me and for her, just reconnecting to her, and she's gifted me with the ability to have insight. That's her gift to me. And so going back and just, again, really grieving her in a way I never grieved before.
Beautiful. So allowing that loss to finally be reckoned with and dealt with in a wholesome sort of way, which part, if you're interested in breath work, the essence is allowing ourselves to feel what we've suppressed for so long in the process of letting that go from our being in order to be clear of it. It has to come back up through our conscious field temporarily, at least, and through the breath process we do that, right? That's what you were experiencing.
Right, and like I've shared, I've grieved many a times for my issues, but since I mastered crying silently, every time I've grieved, I've constricted my throat to the point where there's so much pain if someone else is around. So this is the first time I was able to cry freely and not have pain in my throat because of the position we're in and the mouthpiece I use. So it was a very different sort of grieving.
So this is important because this is what I remember about you, like from the first day or something. You mentioned that you had this silent cry, this inability, or whatever, this reticence to express yourself publicly, to express your grief, express your sadness, and that actually manifested into like throat issues and
jaw issues, and my cracked teeth and my night guard, just all of this keeping it inside and quiet.
Now, and so pretty much from the first session, you found a voice for that sadness, a voice for that emotion to come out.
Right.
And
to my total surprise, it's not the intent. I was just trying to get a boyfriend. I didn't know all this other stuff would come up, but I understand that, stuff came up, and I'm like, well, I guess I have to go there. I didn't plan on it, but that's where I'm going. Right.
So what could you say to people to have that attitude? Because I think that, once again, the attitude of, you're a great candidate for the effectiveness of this, because you saw when it led you down an avenue, you chose to follow that avenue versus what a lot of us do is like, oh, that avenue is kind of scary. I'd rather go this way. And yet the efficacy of the process is to stay with whatever's coming up. And so how, is there any advice you can give people on how to do that based on how you did it? tips or tricks did you use to stay in it?
To stay in it. This is a once in a lifetime, unless I, come back. This is a huge time commitment. This is costly, and this is special and unique. Mm-hmm. And this is it. Like, I really want to do this work now. I guess I'm strong enough to do this work. So I came in much more wholehearted than I have typically to any sort of therapy or retreat. Like, I'm doing it. Normally I would stop myself from crying. They have me yelling. Nicole had me yelling. So I just feel like I know what I really want. I want to understand myself. I want to understand my contribution to having or not having a relationship.
And so do you now, so full circle on that, do you feel like you gained insight as to what your contributions in not having a relationship is?
That's the miracle, is to have that, because now I can work on it. So it's just understanding that I've been in such protection mode to not get hurt or humiliated based on my childhood, that has made me not loving and I'm very compassionate towards men. I'm very compassionate towards all men except for the ones I want something from. And those men, they get a lot of warmth from me, but then they get an intense poke. And then they get warm, and then they get a poke. And then they start to withdraw. And then I feel abandoned and victimized and hurt. So that's what I'm starting to look at is, when does that poke come up? Did I have to do that? But it makes perfect sense why.
Based on all the things that came up during the session, your history, your things, and and now it makes perfect sense following it back, and at the same time you now have a choice, understanding that, having the awareness to either continue that behavior or change it.
Absolutely.
So what makes you feel like that you will change it at this stage of the game?
I think my desire to change it is so strong. And I'm going to go home and I'm going to talk with my really good friends about it, and then they can kind of help monitor. So I'm going to I think maybe have a team approach to it, and kind of put it out there, let people know what I'm working on, and keep going forward.
So we came up to the last of the major nights of the breathwork, and then just last night was breathwork again, which would be in the normal plant medicine ceremony would be a breathwork night, and so it was back to more or less the standard format that we have here. Was there anything come out of that night especially noteworthy?
Yeah, so I think Nicole really had me look at, she said, honor your heart, but also your will. And there's something about saying will. I meant, I think I'm probably strong enough now. I have the will and ability to move forward. So it's kind of embarrassing, but during that visualization, I went back to high school and I asked the guys out to the prom that I hadn't wanted to ask out because I was so scared, and had conversations with ex-boyfriends and apologized for my part and kind of setting them up for a role they could never have. And, so it went through some great visualizations through all of that.
Those seemed to be healing visualizations.
They were healing because when I asked the guys for the prom, I'm so calm. It's just a different person. Like, how would that look if I was connected to myself? And how would I experience them saying no if I was connected to myself? And so I went through all of that. It was great. Yeah, it was great.
So in the forgiveness part too, did you find any need to or forgiveness for yourself?
Yeah. There's a couple people that I had a hard time forgiving, and I was thinking about it like, I guess I am like how they are. So I'm like, why am I not forgiving that person? Why do they have to keep coming back around in this kind of forgiveness line of like, you need to go back in the line. Come back around. And so I was thinking, they are doing what I've done with boyfriends. And the unpredictability of the poking, the warmth, and then the jab, the warmth and the jab. So I've had to actually went for a really nice walk on the beach today and did a really nice kind of talk to myself out loud to forgive that part of myself.
Wonderful. So get down to the beach. You mentioned too you would bike down to the beach.
Mm-hmm.
How was that? And it's getting a little bit broader about the talk of the amenities here at Rythmia and stuff. How do you find your stay was beyond the breathwork program itself, but just Rythmia itself?
Yeah. Well, the rooms were really comfortable. I was concerned about sharing a room with someone. She taught me a lot just in our interactions. The food is beautiful and delicious. The pool was heavenly, just so warm. I really, really loved that. Yeah. So all the amenities were just about perfect. And that, I think, supported my work. In the breath work, we have these wonderful pillows. And we're situated in a way that's comfortable. So it kind of creates all the environment that we need to be able to do really tough work. And you guys are coming around and you're gently touching us and giving us words of affirmation. So I didn't feel alone with a lot of what I was going through.
Yeah, felt like the support, the necessary support was there.
Yeah, I felt the support. Mm-hmm.
Then we were doing our job well,
right? Yeah, you were. You guys were.
All right. Well, let's take a moment. We'll see right now, make sure everything is going on well. Yep, we're still at about 100 people. We're just going to look at some of the comments and see if any of you asked any questions. Andrea said, coming back. I said, yay. Everybody's saying hi. That was for earlier. How did you find the delivery of the program this week, Christian? So that's a question for me, I guess. I loved it. It was great. This is what I did before I was here at Rythmia. It's what I do now. I've been 12 years a transformational breath senior trainer, so I've done programs, week-long programs, weekend programs, day-long programs all over the world. And this was a unique setup because I'm bringing in the breathwork influence that I come from, and Rythmia has this established program with the plant medicine. So it was kind of a melding of those two and finding how of course, with the plant medicine ceremonies, like I said, we already have breathwork in there. So it was really just beefing up the breathworks for those nights that we have plant medicine ceremonies, and sounds like it was effective in your case.
More effective than I ever would have guessed.
Yeah. So I enjoyed it immensely. It stretched my creative abilities. It stretched my, my relationship here at Rythmia. Got me deeper invested. So it was all good. So Bob, congratulations on week 1. Paul and I are looking forward to seeing you on the 30th. Excellent, Bob. I get back into town on the 31st, so I won't see you on the 30th, but I will see you there that week. And Bob will be a returning guest here. Marbella, hey, she joined. Let's see. And if anybody's asking any questions, hello to everybody. Did you take part in the yoga this week? How did you find the other activities helped you along with the breathwork? So that's Adam. So yeah, did you do any yoga this week?
I did yoga, and that was really, really nice. And then we did an hour of dancing, and that was, it seemed kind of intimidating at first. We just all danced around for an hour, but it just made us release all this stuff. That was super fun. So yoga was really great, and then the dance was really fun.
The Answers You classes, did you go to those?
And I went to all the classes, and all the classes had something that triggered thoughts and awarenesses that I continued thinking about the rest of the day.
Yeah. So there you go, a well-rounded program there, Adam. Mm-hmm. If you could describe your week at Rythmia in 3 words, which would you choose? Oh boy, you might have to interview you to be interviewer there, Adam. But good. 3 words.
Three words.
Yeah. What would you?
Shockingly, incredibly transforming. And it sounds so cliche. I don't even use words like that. But
I love the shocking part.
Shocking,
It's like,
yeah.
whoa.
Yeah.
I didn't realize this much transformation was coming my way.
Yeah.
Just breathing at that. Right? All right. Andrea, transformation, healing, joy. Oh, good for you. So Andrea answered that. Andrea, the staff are so focused and supportive on every individual. Christian is awesome. If you are on the fence, take a deep breath and book. Okay, great testimonial there, Andrea. And of course, she was here, like we said, just a week ago. And then Maureen, I'm so nervous and excited. See you tomorrow, beautiful Maureen. And hello, how are you both? We're great. And so if you have any other questions or anything, feel free to ask in that chat bar, because we got some time. You're going back, you said to Colorado. Are you excited about returning now? Apprehensive about returning? What's the state of mind as far as?
I was initially worried because I have a very good friend who's visiting. And I was like, how can I continue eating healthy and not drinking alcohol when I need to be a good hostess? And so I got all nervous about that. But in reality, she'll love what I've done. That's why she's coming to visit me. And so I can chat with her about this, and she'll want to hear. She wants to grow. So it's actually going to help push me forward, is having her come and visit, reviewing this, and then moving forward.
You said something too earlier, not in here, but we were talking earlier about her. And at first you were a little apprehensive, and then you kind of realized that it was a gift in some way for you. Can you say more on that?
Yeah. So I was apprehensive because she's a wonderful, wonderful person who has been feeling very lost and disenchanted and disconnected from life for decades. So that concerned me in terms of how was I going to manage my own energy and her energy. But then I realized she's married and has a kid, but she's also very sexually alive. And so since that's something I'm continuing to work on, and I don't have a whole lot of friends or people around me that I think have that sort of energy for whatever reason, that because she has that energy, that is perfect. That's like the perfect person to come. And then we can be alive in that way together and go out and just do different things I don't normally do.
Yeah, wonderful. So great, once again, seeing something in your life that looks like it's going to be a challenge at first, and then actually looking into it deeper and seeing the opportunity there.
And getting excited about it. Like, she's going to help me continue this work, whether she knows it or not. So.
And I dare say she'll be doing some of the work, whether she knows it or not, too. Let's see, Rythmia, need to make a short video to show what E is. What is that? All right, who said that in Rythmia? Coming off a week of this experience, what life changes do most people make? Coming off this experience, what life change do you think you'll make?
I specifically want to work on continuing to have compassion and forgiveness for myself. And I know if I keep working on that, people around me will feel much more loved and nurtured by me. That will just naturally happen. So that's how that will transform itself.
And I would say in general to that question, that people, there's all sorts of transformations. A lot of, let's see how it's, what life changes do most people make. Yeah, I mean, the life changes are to live a better life, basically. A lot of people rid themselves of addictions. A lot of people have a new sense of purpose and direction. They go back into their lives and help, it helps them get aligned with what they're truly wanting. A lot of people go back healthier, like recognizing their not only the need for a healthier lifestyle, but choosing to eat healthier, to drop unhealthy habits. A lot of people come back more or less spiritual, if you want to use that word. More awakened is what I'd say, in a more neutral term, in that at whatever level of consciousness you're at, there's a new understanding that things can be done differently. People will tend to re-enter their relationships with a new sense of enthusiasm and desire for harmony, apologizing maybe where they haven't before and forgiving where they haven't before. So all these are, I think.
I forgot to mention that a behavioral thing I'm going to do different is to introduce much more rest into my day, and that would be through some sort of meditation and breathing. Because that was the other goal I forgot about, is I have a wonderful job, but I feel very fatigued by it, and I realized the first night it's because I'm not resting, and how important it is to get that quality rest. And so that needs to happen as soon as I get home, and it'll transform my work and how I feel about myself. So that's really important.
So getting quality rest and that breath work. I know breathing, consuming more oxygen will energize us in ways that will keep you running, like the Energizer Bunny. All right, let's see here. Andrea, people are gravitating to me. Everyone says I look different. You feel blessed. Feel strong in my business and the future. Hope that helps, Andy. Yeah, great, Andrea. So that's a testimony to what kind of changes Andrea's made in her life. And Maze says, new to this, but sparked interest. I grew up as an atheist, but when I had an experience like I've never had from any other trip, I instantly came back from consciousness. I believe I spoke with God or higher power. It gave me information I never had before. Is that a usual experience for your clients? Yes. That is a usual experience. People get in touch with their higher self, basically, however you want to look at it. God, Jesus, Pachamama, Mother Earth, your higher self, your spirit guides, all different manifestations of the ultimate wisdom and compassion energy that is supporting us to come to higher and higher levels of awareness and doing of life. So let's see. All right, it's looking like it, and we're about 45 minutes into it. I think this is a beautiful place to come to an end. Dawn, thank you very much for having been part of this, and really, one of the historic folks. This will go down in history, and if you want a uniquely personalized experience, come in these early days of the Breathwork Weeks, which we'll be having every month. So right now, 1 month out of every 4, 1 week out of every 4 in the month is dedicated to the Breathwork Week now. So if you've been here before, try it out and recognize how potent the breathwork can be in comparison with the plant medicine. If you haven't been here before and either you can't do plant medicine, like you've got some physical condition, or you're on medications, or you've just got some reticence to trying something external as a way of consciousness expansion, come and do the breath work, because it is, as many people report, as transformational, and in some cases even more transformational than the plant medicine itself. However, this week we're back to plant medicine week, which we'll have the kickoff breathwork tonight. This will be the well, for some of them anyway. Tonight and tomorrow we'll get the people started, and then they'll be into the plant medicine next week. So next week we'll have another Rythmia Live, back to normal edition. Jerry should be leading that one. Until then, let's see. Adam says hi. Good. Congrats on the breathwork week. Thanks so much, Adam. We appreciate that greatly, and appreciate all you tuning in. We'll see you next time. Over and out.